So we're keeping Hamilton in, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
So yeah, I was just looking at, I was curious that Hamilton was getting 2 times the per capita amount of everyone else in highway dollars, and this bill seems to be going through. So it's kind of curious, what kind of deal was cut. But all right, thanks.
We're taking Knox out, correct?
That is correct. What came back from the Senate was the original bill. Knox is out, and it's only Hamilton County.
And if my memory serves me correct, I think overall we've had, about 500 students statewide so far to get involved with this voucher bill, to take advantage of the voucher bill?
That is correct.
So is it the intent, because there's been dismal participation, to expand it into Hamilton County because no one wants to do this, or no one cares about this voucher bill? What's the intent? And that was my next question. What is your expected projection for Hamilton County in enrollment?
I have no idea. The cap is 5,000, so we're just giving the people options that want it.
How many are currently enrolled in the voucher program now?
It's my understanding about 500.
So 1/10 of what was the cap. So 1/10 of the cap has been enrolled, and we're expanding it into another county, into Hamilton County, when we've only received 1/10 of the participation so far.
Thank you. And you're talking about the original bill, which we have passed, where this back comes in the removing Knox County.
Chairman White, I have to talk about that in order to talk about the expansion of it, which is what we're doing. And so in order to bring context to the expansion, I have to talk about where we are, because we're expanding under this message. We're expanding. We took the 2 biggest counties and put this program in it, and it performed dismally because nobody wants to be involved in it. And so now we're expanding this program into another large county, but it just makes it appear we're expanding it because nobody was interested in the first 2 largest counties.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, you're making your assumption. That is not correct. This is an opportunity that we're putting out in these areas for those parents who would like to have the opportunity. Hamilton County has 3 priority schools, and this is giving those children opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I understand that, Chairman White, but again, I go back to what Representative Hakeem said, that nobody came to talk to him, and his schools are the ones that are being affected. And if there was no interest, because my schools were affected in Shelby County, and apparently there was not a lot of interest in doing this. Maybe we should look at expanding it into some of these rural communities where they're excited about it, instead of taking it into these urban communities where they lack the enthusiasm about your voucher program that takes public funds and sends it to private entities and private schools. And if the private schools were so benevolent, they would just reduce their prices so that these poor black kids can go into their schools. Oh, that question mark.
Chairman White.
I appreciate your comments. I read my motion.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I got 30 seconds left. So, Chairman White, this is a bad bill. This is a bad idea. This takes public dollars away from public schools and gives it to people who are trying to make profits off of the heads of black and brown and poor children. It's a bad idea. It's a bad look. Thank you.
Representative Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman White, thank you for bringing this bill. During the previous conversation, there were several points that were brought up. Just wanted to elaborate on. This program was held up in the court system, and it didn't get approved to be able to move forward until just shortly before the school semester started. Is that correct?
Chairman White.
Yes, 8 months ago, and so it has a slow rollout. That's why we've only been able to get 500 in so far, but we're putting the opportunity out there. Thank you.
Representative Ritchie.
Thank you. So since it was held up, that's what limited folks from being able to participate. So that's not a barren, like any type of gauge on whether it's been successful or not. If anything, I think 500 families deciding to send their kids through this particular program in that short period of time shows that it's something that is needed. And with an additional 1,500 families, I don't believe that the number is 1,500 students. There's 1,500 additional applications from family members. So that shows the increased desire for folks across this state. And now we're expanding another one. An important component of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is so that we can get this data to show either A, how well it's working, or B, how well it's not working, but we can go all the way up to that 5,000 student mark, correct?
Chairman White.
Thank you, and I agree absolutely with your comments. Thank you very much.
Representative Ritchie.
Thank you, Chairman. I support the bill.
Representative Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question's been called. Who called? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear him call your name. Okay, Representative Hakeem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Chairman White, I heard you say that you were, in this instance, dealing with Hamilton County, you were giving the people what they want. Now, to my knowledge, there's one individual in our legislative body who have encouraged you to move in this direction that you're talking about, including Hamilton County. How can that one individual speak for the people of Hamilton County? Please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The same way you, sir, speak for. And if you look on the sign-on list, there's other people from Hamilton County who have signed on to this legislation. We are representative government, and so we are here discussing this. It was brought to us by some representatives and from the House and the Senate, and we are moving forward at their request. As I mentioned the other day, I'm a big supporter of parents' right to choose what is best for their child's education, and I'm standing here advocating for that.
Okay. So it's irrelevant what the representative for those schools has to say on this issue. What other representatives have to say has more weight with you than the representative who represents those schools.
Representative, I love you. Your words, not mine. No, sir. It's not true.
I just have a couple of other questions. One, in regards to potential loss of monies, if those children leave the public or charter schools and go to a private school, does the money follow the children? And if so, what is the impact on the schools that they have left?
In the original legislation in 2019, we hold harmless the public schools for 3 years. They continue to get the money just like the child was there. We did that intentionally to protect on the thing. Now, once 3 years is up, it's just like a child moves away or moves in and out of our state or anywhere else, goes to a different district, then the schools only get the funding for the children that are going to in that particular school.
So, if I'm understanding what you're saying, the schools that we're dealing with, the 5 schools that are being proposed, those are the only instances where children have the option to leave a school and go to a private school, or does this apply to Hamilton County in general schools?
It applies to Hamilton County, sir.
Now, the wording I saw, it was dealing with the 5 schools, but now you're telling me that it's any school, any child can leave public schools who are in this category and go to, I'm going to say, a private school. Am I correct on that?
Only those students who fall in as I mentioned the other day, the income range. This is, you have to have a district or a county that has 3 or more priority schools, and they have to fit within the income level of twice that of those if you receive the free lunch program. So it's designed for those students who don't have the opportunity to make a choice. And so that's why I'm such a big advocate of this, to help those students who are at least capable of having a choice.
So the reality of it is, the demographics, black and brown children are those who are going to be leaving these schools. And it's not just the 5 schools we're talking about, we're saying any school. Am I correct?
You're talking about any school. These are schools which have to be certified, qualified by the state, not just any. When we designed the legislation back in 2019, we were very emphatic that we did not want any school popping up as a result of this legislation. So you had to be a certified 1, 2, or 3 category private school. These that are authorized by the state that are high performing.
The question was,
That was 5 minutes. Representative Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 12, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Ayes 57, 27 nays, 5 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 12, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The motion reconsiders table. Next message, Mr. Clerk.